Your LinkedIn comments, your LinkedIn DMs, and your LinkedIn outbound strategy as a whole is the most important aspect of growing on LinkedIn. So in this video, we're going to show you the exact LinkedIn outbound system that you need for your business in 2026. If you're trying to build a brand, if you're trying to build a business, or you just want to grow on LinkedIn in general. So throughout this video, this is how you're going to use the blueprint we're about to create. This video is going to be your step-by-step guide to building a complete LinkedIn outbound system in Aimfox. So for this, we're going to be using the Sales Navigator and we're going to be using Aimfox. If you don't have Sales Navigator, this still works. You can just use the normal LinkedIn search features. And if you're not using Aimfox, you can start for free in the description of this video. We're going to go through a lot of templates so you can make sure you follow along, and you can also grab this exact blueprint in the description of this video as well. So the first thing we want to set up is our audience targeting setup, right? The foundation of your outbound system is who you're targeting on LinkedIn. If you get this wrong, then nothing else is going to matter, okay? So the first thing is your target audience criteria. You can use these filters in Aimfox to find active, engaged prospects. So we have a few filter types. We've got job title, we've got industry, company size, location, activity level, connections, profile language, and there's a lot more, but this is what we're going to focus on first. So first, we're going to start with the job title. Based on your ICP, based on the target you want to target, we're going to decide on this here. So founders, CEOs, VP of sales, head of marketing, these are the people that I'm going to target for the sake of this video. Then we're going to use the B2B SaaS industry, professional services, and consulting. We're going to target 10 to 100 employee companies. We're also going to target people in the US, Canada, and the United Kingdom. We're going to get people that have posted in the last 30 days. This is very critical. We want people that are active on the platform. We're also going to do people with over 500 connections because it shows that they use LinkedIn. And also our profile language is going to be English. Now, one thing that's critical is only target people who have posted on LinkedIn or engaged on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. If you are connecting with people that are not active, that haven't opened up LinkedIn in 2 years, like it's not going to help your outbound system. So focus on people that are active and engage on the platform right now. So this is going to be your ideal customer profile. You want to target people that are ideal for what you have to offer, whether it's your product, your service, or you just want to build a brand of people that are like-minded. Make sure to get this perfect. Now, here's an example of your ICP. It could be something like founders of 10 to 50 person B2B SaaS companies in North America who post about sales, marketing, or growth at least once a week. So your ICP could look something like this. Founders and CEOs of 10 to 50 person B2B SaaS companies in North America who post about sales, marketing, growth, or product development at least weekly. They're actively building their business and engaged with content about scaling, hiring, and revenue growth. Perfect. That sounds awesome. So before we get on to our next thing, which is our connection request sequence, we're going to build out our first targeting audience. Okay, so we're going to go to Aimfox. We're going to create an outbound campaign. Then we're going to go over to Sales Navigator and press on Next. Okay, we're going to name this Test Campaign. Then we're going to do maximum targets. We're going to do 250 for the sake of this video. Normally, I like to do 2,000 just to get a much larger list, but we'll just do 250 for now. We're going to make sure it's on Connect, and then we're going to press on Create Campaign. Now, this is where the fun part begins. We can start with our different targeting here. So the first thing I'm going to do right away is turn on the posted on LinkedIn recently. Okay, this is very, very important. The next thing I want to do is go over to company headcount. If we're targeting companies with 10 to 50 employees, we're going to do 11 to 50 here. And then we're going to leave that rest how it is. Then we're going to also go to current job title. We want to focus on founders. We want to focus on CEO. And we also want to focus on VPs. Now, once we have those job titles, we're good to go. You can always add more if you want, but that's what we're going to stick with for now. Then we're also going to go down to and say years in current company and years in current position. We want the years in the current company to be more than 3 to 5 years. It could be 6 to 10 years or more than 10, just to show they have real experience in this company. Now, for the geography, we're going to stick with North America as we only want to target people in this region. For the profile language, we also want to only contact people that speak English, as we don't speak any other languages. For years of experience, we want to find people that do have quite a bit of experience. So for this one, we're going to put 3 to 5, 6 to 10, or more than 10 years. Now, we can't forget the industry. For this one, we're going to do business consulting, and we're also going to do professional services. So I'll press on include there. And we're pretty much good to go on our filters here. We've got 17,000 people right now that are left in our filters. We can make this a little bit more tight to get down to more about a couple thousand, just to make our search even better. So typically what I want to do, if I want to search down even further, I could take down the geography, and maybe we could focus just on Texas, for example. Include this, and then we can check here. We're going to have only 1,243 people. Now, since we're only wanting to target about 250 people, this is actually a lot better. Now, what we could also do, we could change like the the company type, we could change the function, we could change their seniority level. There are a lot of things we could add to make it a little bit more filtered, but for now, we're just going to press on next and we have that 1200 list. So Aimfox is now going to go through all these targets and identify the following. Are they valid targets? Are their profiles open or are they closed? Are they locked into another campaign you created? Are they blacklisted or out of your network? So based on this, we're going to get 250 ideal prospects for your new campaign here. Okay, while that's loading, we can go ahead and start with the connection request sequence. This is the best part here, so tag along. The first thing is connection request best practices. Do not forget this. Take notes on this. Keep it under 200 characters. The LinkedIn limit is 300, but you do not want to hit that 300. That's a lot of characters. You want to reference something specific from their profile or from their content. You don't want to pitch them. You don't want to ask them for anything. You don't want to do something like, hey, I help with XYZ. I help founders do this. Like, that's obviously you're going to sell something to them. Don't do this. And you should always use their first name, which we'll do that with the automation in Aimfox. So just an example of the connection request template we can use, something like, hey, first name, I saw your recent post on a certain topic, building something similar, would love to connect and follow your journey. It's simple. We're not asking them for anything, and it's a very easy connection to send to people. So the connection could look something like this. Hey, Alex, saw your recent post on building sales systems, really resonated with where you're at, would love to connect and follow your journey building. And then if you want to add their company name, you can. Sometimes I don't like to do that because it doesn't look too professional. It actually looks like it is an automation because most people don't just drop a company name in a connection. So I might leave that blank, but that's totally up to you and based on who you're sending connections to. And you do want to aim for about 25% acceptance rate. If you're below that 15 after you run your first campaign, your target needs a lot of work. Okay, so we can go back into Aimfox and actually add this connection request template. We're going to copy this. And we're going to go into Aimfox. Now, remember, what you can do is you can use Claude, you can use ChatGPT, or you can just use messages you've seen other people use, and you can build that into your strategy. You don't have to use what I'm showing you here, but this is just an example of what it would look like. So I'm going to press on next, and we're going to go here. This screen might look very complex, but it's very, very easy. The first thing we want to know is we're just going to go to connection request here, okay? You have the option to do a translation, but since we're only targeting people that are speaking English, we don't have to do the automatic translation. But if your company is sending people worldwide with all different languages, you can actually automatically translate to their specific language. So we're going to add a connection note here, and we're going to choose template. We're going to create a new template. And from here, we're going to say YouTube test. Then we're going to paste this into here. So under first name, we're going to remove this, and we're going down to the bottom here where we have tags. We're going to add first name. So hey, first name, saw your recent post on, and then topic. What we can do here is we can actually use AI. So we can use this AI thing. We can say, mention a topic that this user posted about in the last 7 days, okay? And then building something similar, would love to connect and follow your journey. Now, if we update changes here, we can actually see what James has posted recently. So, hey, James, I saw your recent post on fleet safety best practices, building something similar, would love to connect and follow your journey. So it uses AI to find a recent post that they created, what the topic was about, and it'll add it here. It's pretty cool. You can even do something instead of that. You could do something like mention the user's niche and a specific key point, something like that. You can mess around. You could just keep updating this and find something that works, but this one could be, hey, James, saw your recent post on expert witness work in trucking and fleet safety. That's a lot more specific. We probably don't want to be that specific, but that's pretty cool. It works really well. So for now, we're just going to use that for an example, but you can mess around with that. We're going to press on save, and we're good to go. We have our connection request template, and now we have our first connection request for Veronica. All right, step number 3 is message sequence strategies. We're actually build out the sequence here. Once your prospect accepts the invitation, your sequence determines if they reply or they ghost you. We want there to be a 25% acceptance rate, so keep that in mind, okay? So we're going to use this 3-message sequence with strategic delays in between each message. So message number 1 is going to be the thank you message. There's 0 delay here. This is immediately after they connect with you, okay? So the framework here is thank them, reference their content or their company, and ask a soft question, okay? So something like, hey, thanks for connecting. First name, I've been following your content on topic, really insightful stuff. Quick question for you. How are you currently handling an irrelevant problem? Always curious how other founders are tackling this. And then you have your message here, which is a quick example. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this message and we're going to go into Aimfox again. And we're going to create our first follow-up message. Now, what we can do in between that is we can actually react to a post. If you want, you can react to your prospect's latest post to kind of ping them in their notifications so they see you. So we're going to turn that on for now. And then we're going to go to the message sequence and we're going to add a follow-up message, okay? Our template, we're going to create a new template name. We're going to say YouTube test number 1, and we're going to paste this here. So thanks for connecting. We're going to remove the first name. We're going to add this tag here, first name. I've been following your content on, okay? We're going to do AI. We're going to say recent topic this person has talked about. Really insightful stuff. Quick question. How are you currently handling and then relevant problem? We're going to take this and we're going to use AI and say relevant problem this person has talked about. Okay, boom. And then always curious how founders are tackling this. I'm going to update this and let's see what we get. So for this one, it says, thanks for connecting, Aton. I've been following your content on integrating sales and recruitment strategies with technology to drive business growth. Really insightful stuff. Quick question. How are you currently handling the challenges of aligning high-performing sales teams with effective recruitment and training processes? Always curious how other founders are tackling this. Now, that's actually pretty solid. It's a bit long, but it's very solid. The spacing of this is pretty poor, so what we can do is we can actually, let's do this. We'll make it a little more readable. We can even do this, and that way we have a pretty readable DM here. That's awesome. Now, if you want it to be shorter, you can even make these AI prompts a lot more specific, but for the sake of this video, we're going to use this. But honestly, this is a really solid DM. It really pinpoints to something very specific that Aton has to offer here. I'm going to save that. We're going to move on to our next DM here, which is message number 2. This is where we drop the value. If there's no reply, okay, that's going to be day 3. So the goal of this message 2 is to provide value before asking for anything from this person. So we're going to share a resource and insight, and we're going to make it relevant to them, and then a soft CTA. So an example of this would be, hey, first name, saw you were working on a specific thing in their profile. I just published a breakdown on a related topic that a few founders found helpful. Thought you might too. Drop a link. No pressure, just figured it'd be relevant given what you are building. Okay, it's very simple. We got a soft CTA and we're not just spamming stuff. Okay, so I'm going to drop this here and we're going to post this into our Aimfox. We're going to go to add a follow-up message and we're going to create another template, create new template, and YouTube number 2. We're going to paste this in here. We're going to remove the first name and we're going to put the first name tag. Remove this. Something specific. This person has recently worked on profile. Make it short. Okay. Make it very short and simple. And then I just published a breakdown. I just published a breakdown on related topic. So for our sake, let's depend on our business. We'll just say LinkedIn growth. We actually don't have to use AI for this. We could just say LinkedIn growth strategies, but for fun, I like to use the AI. We'll use that. That a few founders found helpful. Thought you might too. We're going to drop a link here. We're just going to say tube.com, drop the link here, and then we're going to tag this down. No pressure, just figured it'd be relevant given what you're building. Okay, so perfect. Let's go ahead and generate this. Hey, Mike, saw you were working on the Linux Foundation Jensen project, advancing open source digital identity platforms. Yeah, we got a little more specific because that's just a mouthful, but you get the point. It does find what they're working on. I just published a breakdown on LinkedIn growth strategies that a few founders found helpful. Thought you might too. And then our link to whatever it is. No pressure. So that looks really good. We just need to perfect this one a little bit more, but that looks really solid. And I think this would be a really good DM to start with because they now have something valuable. And we also mentioned something that they're working on so they know it's actually more relevant to their business. Okay. So press on save. And that's really solid. We also want to make sure in between our DMs, we do have this area right here, which is when the message will be sent. So we're going to say 1 day after this message, this second message goes out. If you want to have a little more space, you can do 2 days, but usually I like to have more speed approach to this. So we send the first one, then we get the next one out the next day. Okay, so we're going to just put 1 day here. Now we're going to go back to our sheet here. We're going to go to message number 3, which is our softer pitch. Make the offer without being super pushy. So acknowledge they're busy, present relevant offer, and then an easy way out. Okay, so first name, I know you're slammed but want to run something by you. I'm working with a few avatar on specific outcome. If you're open to it, I'd be happy to share what's working. If not, no worries, still great to be connected. Okay, that is perfect. So we can actually just take this, we'll copy this and put it for our third DM. So the Aimfox campaign keeps running until you get a human response and then it'll stop. So if they respond to this first message, the AI stops, the automation stops. If they don't, they'll get this one a day later. If they respond to this one, boom, they're not going to get that third DM. If they don't respond to that one, they're going to get that third DM. So the automations don't stop until they respond to your campaign. So I'm going to press on add a follow-up message, create template, create new template. We're going to say YouTube test 3. I'm going to drop this in here. We're going to replace first name with our first name tag. You get the gist of it. I know you're slammed but wanted to run something by you. I'm working with a few, and then your avatar. So we're going to say I'm working with a few founders on generating more leads on LinkedIn. If you're open to it, I'd be happy to share what's working. If not, no worries. Still great to be connected. Okay. Awesome. That sounds wonderful. So update changes, and we're going to save this, and boom, we've got a pretty solid outbound campaign here, and we're going to make messages will be sent 1 day later after this one if it's not sent already. If you want to play more of the long-term game, you can do something like 3 days later, and then you can do 4 days later. So that's a total of about 7 or 8 days worth of a campaign. If you prefer to do the fast approach, do less days in between. But if you want to do more, just do a few days in between each one to have a bit of a break so you don't feel like you're spamming people 24/7. And once you've done that, you're ready to go. You can press on next. And then for our target time zones, we're actually going to do 9 to 5. So we only send messages during working hours. We don't want to send messages at 2 a.m. We don't want to send messages at 7 p.m. when people are trying to have dinner. So we're just going to send messages at 9 to 5 when people are online, they're working, or it's just throughout their day. And this is based on their time zone. So if it's 5 o'clock for someone in the US, it's not 5 o'clock for someone in China, for example, or Asia, wherever it is. So we're going to make sure we only focus on 9 to 5 and the target's time zone. We're going to press on next, and we can actually go ahead and launch this and press start, and you're good to go. That is how you launch your first Aimfox campaign. One thing I want to note is some key metrics to track weekly. How many connection requests you've been sending. So you can do 50 to 100 per week. Some people can do more, even 200, but you can have a result that you want to hit, probably about 75 plus per week. Then you have your acceptance rate. You want to stick to about 25% or more. If you can hit anything higher than that, you're doing really, really good. Your message reply rate, hopefully that's about 30 to 40%, if not more. The sweet spot is 30 to 40, but if you can get higher, that is awesome on you. Your median booking rate, 5 to 10% of your replies should be successful booking rates to your calls, to your lead magnets, whatever it is. 7% is the sweet spot. And then overall, I would just track all these analytics for 30 days, and you can have multiple campaigns running to see what's working, what's not working. You can double down on what is and what's not. You can A/B test to see what's working. There's so many things you can do to make your Aimfox campaign as good as possible. And the last thing for you I have is the checklist you can actually get in the description of this video. You can access this whole document for free. Just go to the description and click on the link to get it all. So while you're building your Aimfox campaign, you can actually go through this video, and you can also use this blueprint to help you build your first Aimfox campaign to get way more LinkedIn DMs, way more clients, and way more business for your products and services that you're trying to sell on the best platform, which is LinkedIn. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them below this video, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. And if you have any suggestions for the next video on the Aimfox channel, please let me know in the comments again, and I'll see you in the next awesome video. Peace out.